Oh, Canelo, you puta.
And this fucking YouTuber. I just fight real fighters.
Time to expose them. So we had a signed contract to fight. Here you can see Canelo's signature and my signature to the right, claiming he's not fighting.
Ladies and gentlemen, come round because we've got some thrilling news from the boxing world that's certain to get your pulse pounding. The ever-controversial Jake Paul has once again set the sports world ablaze, this time by taking direct aim at none other than the famous Canelo Alvarez. Buckle up as we go deep into this dramatic narrative of challenges, allegations, and the disclosure of a contract that has everyone talking. Jake Paul, the YouTuber turned boxer who's been making waves in the boxing industry, didn't hold back in his latest outburst.
YouTubers, bullshit. Look at the poster. We were announcing Tuesday, February 11th, claiming he fights real fighters, but he's fighting Crawford, a 135-pound fighter, and running from a real fighter like David Benavidez, you bitch.
Against Canelo Alvarez. In a daring move, Paul publicly dubbed Canelo a bitch, accusing him of ducking a possible battle between the two. But that's not all. Paul also attacked Canelo for sidestepping a match with the tough David Benavidez. These angry words have created a storm of opinions among fans and pundits alike. According to sources, Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez were on the verge of completing a blockbuster bout set for May 3rd in Las Vegas. This event was destined to be a landmark occasion, particularly for fans throughout Mexico, Puerto Rico, and...
Hey guys, don't pay attention in anything. In this fucking YouTuber, I just fight real fighters. Don't fucking around with Canelo. Come on, let's go.
The United States. However, in a stunning twist, Canelo elected to sign a lucrative 4-fight agreement with Riyadh Season, run by Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority chairman, Turki Al-Sheikh. This action essentially crushed the expected clash with Paul. Never one to sit quiet, Jake Paul resorted to social media to share his outrage and disappointment. He said that a contract for their bout had been negotiated and was on the point of being publicized until Canelo pulled out in favor of a more financially tempting agreement. Paul didn't mince words, accusing Canelo of preferring money over important battles and disrespecting his Mexican supporters.
The truth is you can be bought. You're a money-hungry squirrel chasing your next nut. The truth is these sports-washing shady characters are paying you hundreds of millions of dollars to
by choosing to fight in Saudi Arabia. He went as far as to label Canelo a own slave and a money-hungry squirrel, underlining his distaste for the boxer's previous moves. In an effort to corroborate his accusations, Jake Paul revealed what he claimed to be the written contract for the scheduled bout with Canelo. Alongside the contract, he published an actual fight poster, highlighting that the contest was not just a rumor but a scheduled event that was disrupted by Canelo's new agreement. This revelation has added gasoline to
stop our fight from happening because they couldn't fathom the fact that they can't create a bigger fight than me and you. Al Heyman has made you hundreds
to the flames, with many doubting the integrity and intentions behind the scenes. Under his new deal with Riyadh Season, Canelo Alvarez is expected to compete in May 2025, with further fights planned until October 2026. One of the most anticipated matches in this pact is about versus Terence "Bud" Crawford, set for September. While this roster promises entertaining contests for boxing lovers, it has also prompted questions about the effect of rich partnerships on the sports ethics and the decisions athletes make. Despite the setback of the Canelo bout, Jake Paul's boxing career continues to gather pace. He recently earned a win against the famous Mike Tyson, a match that smashed revenue and streaming records. With an 11-1 record, Paul has demonstrated that he's more than just a social media star. He's a tough competitor in the boxing ring. As he finalizes his next bout, fans are anxious to see who will stand forward to confront the boisterous and ambitious fighter. This showdown between Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez reflects a bigger discussion about the altering environment of boxing. As financial incentives and entertainment value increasingly influence choices, doubts emerge regarding the sport's future and the balance between legacy and profitability. One thing is certain, with characters like Jake Paul shaking up the status quo, boxing is in for an unexpected and exhilarating trip. In the ever-dynamic world of boxing, rivalries and disputes are par for the course. The latest disagreement between Jake Paul and Canelo Alvarez is a testimony to the sport's perennial drama and the personalities that keep spectators on the edge of their seats. As the plot progresses, one can only expect more twists, turns, and possibly an ultimate clash that will settle the score once and for all. Alright, battle lovers, let's keep this energy going because this narrative is far from done. Jake Paul's continuous verbal attack on Canelo Alvarez isn't just about a lost fight opportunity, it's about the ever-growing change in boxing, the war for control, and the power struggle between old-school luminaries and new-age disruptors. Jake Paul has been outspoken about what he regards as corruption and favoritism in boxing. He's not just calling out Canelo for dodging their fight, he's making a statement about the whole system. Paul contends that boxing's top protect themselves with carefully planned battles, avoiding dangerous opponents, and maximizing salaries rather than actually establishing themselves in the ring. And let's be real, this isn't the first time Canelo has been accused of dodging a fight. Fans and observers have long assumed that Canelo has been purposefully avoiding David Benavidez, a rising star in the super middleweight class. Benavidez has been clamoring for a fight with Canelo for years, but for some reason, it simply never transpired. And now, with Canelo taking a different route, the questions only get louder. Jake Paul took it to another level when he publicly accused Canelo of hiding from true fight. "If you're the greatest," Paul ranted, "then why not prove it? Why not fight me? Why not fight Benavidez?" Canelo's admirers claim that he's earned the right to pick his fights, he's a four-division world champion, after all. But detractors, led by Paul, claim he's only choosing bouts that fit his reputation and financial account, not ones that show he's still the greatest. Let's speak about the battle that never was, Canelo versus Jake Paul. Imagine this, Las Vegas, May 3rd, one of the largest boxing events of the year, with a full audience of Mexican and Puerto Rican fans. This was not simply any exhibition bout, it was a big crossover event that may have transformed boxing forever. Jake Paul has always maintained he wants to fight the greatest, and despite all the skeptics, he continues proving people wrong. He knocked out MMA opponents, outboxed past world champs, and even took on the famous Mike Tyson. Say what you want about Paul, but he's taking chances, and that's something he thinks Canelo refuses to do. So what happened? According to Jake, the contract was there, the transaction was done, and the fight was set to be publicized. But then came the news, Canelo was signing a 4-fight agreement with Saudi Arabia's Riyadh season, a decision that, in Paul's view, reinforced his darkest fears. Canelo was just interested in money, not legacy. The Saudi deal, a smart move or a sellout? Let's break out this agreement. Canelo's new arrangement with Riyadh season is allegedly worth hundreds of millions of dollars, ensuring his bouts for the next 2 years. His first fight under this arrangement is slated for May 2025, with a huge showdown against Terence Crawford in September. Now, that's an interesting fight. Crawford is an absolute beast, and many say he's one of the finest pound-for-pound fighters in the world. But here's the issue, Crawford has never fought at super middleweight, which makes this bout a little problematic. Canelo gets to face a legend, but on his own terms, in a weight class where he has the obvious edge. Jake Paul views this as indication that Canelo is playing it safe. Instead of facing a natural 168-pounder like Benavidez or taking a chance with Paul, he's selecting a smaller opponent who needs to climb up in weight. And, of course, he's being paid a ludicrous amount of money to do it. Paul's response? Pure fire. "Canelo, you could be bought," he said. "You're just another warrior pursuing money instead of glory. You could have fought me, you might have fought Benavidez, but instead, you sold out." And let's not forget Paul's greatest claim, that the fight contract between him and Canelo was legitimate and signed. The leaked contract, real or a bluff? Jake Paul isn't just talking, he provided receipts. He released what he says is the legitimate contract for his bout with Canelo, coupled with an official advertising poster. If accurate, this would suggest that Canelo was actually locked in for a fight with Jake Paul until he unexpectedly reversed direction. Now, of course, Canelo's team has refuted these accusations, insisting no serious conversations took place, but the stolen records portray a different tale. If this deal was truly signed, it begs a significant question: why did Canelo back out? Was it about money? Was it about legacy? Or was it because Jake Paul was a larger menace than many realized? Here's when things become very fascinating. Canelo Alvarez is one of the finest boxers of this generation, there's no question about it. But in the perspective of some supporters, his latest choices are beginning to undermine his image. At 34 years old, Canelo is still a dominating force, but others are asking if he's actually pushing himself. He's battled legends, taken chances, and conquered various weight classes, but in the past several years, it appears like he's selecting his conflicts wisely. Jake Paul is tapping into that criticism and magnifying it to the globe. He's not just making this personal, he's making it about the sport as a whole. So where does Jake Paul go from here? He's already made it obvious that he's not backing down from huge conflicts. After defeating Mike Tyson, he's proven that he can produce enormous pay-per-view numbers, and now he's searching for his next opponent. With the Canelo bout off the table, Paul has several options. A rematch with Tommy Fury, the only guy to defeat him in a tight decision. A bout with a top-ranked boxer to quiet the doubters? Or maybe just maybe he continues pressing for a fight with Canelo until the pressure becomes too strong to ignore. One thing is for sure, Jake Paul is not going away. Love him or loathe him, he's revolutionizing the game, calling out the biggest names, and making boxing more interesting than ever. At the end of the day, this isn't just about Jake Paul versus Canelo Alvarez. It's about boxing's future. Are boxers going to keep making bouts solely on money? Or will they step up and confront serious challenges? Canelo has his legacy, but Jake Paul is pushing the debate. He's pushing the old guard, revealing contracts, and refusing to back down. And whether or not you think he's serious, one thing is undeniable, he's making people care about boxing again. So what do you think? Did Canelo evade Jake Paul? Is he fleeing from Benavidez? Or is this all simply another crazy episode in the never-ending drama of boxing? One thing's for sure, this narrative isn't over. Stay tuned, fight aficionados, for things are just getting started.